What up, though, y'all? It's Chris broadcasting to you from the D. And this whole thing here with the transgender ban in sports, I'm surprised nobody brought this to my attention sooner. You guys know I have never been a fan of this. I don't like it at all. I don't like boys wanting to jump in the pools and race the girls, or wanting to jump on the basketball court and just out compete them for their scholarships. I don't like them trying to compete against girls in fencing, any of that. It's ridiculous. And even though I'm glad that this is happening, it's also frustrating at the same time, because why did the president of the United States have to get involved? Because so many people chose to act dumb, just act like they had no common sense whatsoever about this. They really wanted to pretend like this was okay, that men should be able to dominate women in their own sports, and if you don't accept this, well, you're the problem. So this all starts back with Lia Thomas at the University of Pennsylvania, aka UPenn. You had Lia Thomas, who swam for the men's team, decides, hey, I want to be a girl now, and he goes to swim on the girls' team, and everyone allowed it. And the girls on the team were threatened to keep quiet about it. They didn't like the fact that Thomas was gonna obliterate all their records because he had the strength and stamina to do so. They didn't like the fact that different opportunities he would take them away from them. They didn't like the fact that he was going to be able to change in the same locker room, just dick swinging or whatever. And they were told that if they spoke up about this, that they would be on the wrong side of history. They threatened them that they wouldn't be able to get jobs. They told them that they needed therapy. Just, the usual shaming tactics that the people who push this progressive nonsense, it's the usual shame tactics that they employ. They push whatever. If you disagree with it in any way, you're evil. You're a bigot, you're intolerant, you're phobic, all of that stuff. It can't be like, hey, this is just not right. So, I don't know if you guys remember, but the Biden administration, they were going as far as to trying to change Title IX to include trans athletes. This is how ridiculous that this had gotten. I mean, it ended up being struck down, but they were going forward with it. I mean, thank goodness for Trump. I mean, some of y'all out there hate Trump, this and that. Listen, if he didn't get involved with this, the Democrats would have had their way, and I wouldn't even be making this video right now. But let's look at some snippets here that I acquired from a couple other videos that I came across that happen to be covering this. The Biden administration's Title IX rules expanding protections for LGBTQ plus students have been struck down nationwide after a federal judge in Kentucky found they overstepped the president's authority. In a decision issued on Thursday, U.S. District Judge Danny C. Reeves scrapped the entire 1,500-page regulation after deciding it was fatally tainted by legal shortcomings. The rule had already been halted in 26 states after a wave of legal challenges by Republican states. See what I mean? You guys could be like, you hate Republicans, you hate conservatives, but they were the ones that were trying to prevent your daughters from having to go change in the locker room with some weirdos that have some fetish or whatever the heck about wanting to be in spaces with women. Donald Trump, whose inauguration is days away, previously promised to end the rules on day one and made anti-transgender themes a centerpiece of his campaign. The decision came in response to a lawsuit filed by Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, Virginia, and West Virginia. Now, some of these are states that would be blue, and even they weren't going along with that. So how ridiculous do you have to be when states that vote blue or states that are swing states are like, bruh, this is not it. What the hell are we doing here? But again, they were pressing forward with this in spite of that. So here's some stuff about Lia Thomas, because apparently UPenn is going to erase all of Lia Thomas's records, restore them to the rightful female record holders, and issue some sort of letter of apology to the women who were affected by this. So that whole thing with, oh, you're on the wrong side of history, that aged like milk in a summer's sun. 3 years ago, Lia Thomas drew national and international headlines as the first transgender female swimmer to contend for and eventually win an NCAA title. Now, in response to a Title IX lawsuit, the University of Pennsylvania has agreed to strip Thomas's titles and records and ban any further transgender females from competing on women's sports teams. The U.S. Education Department announced Tuesday the terms to which Penn had agreed. The federal government determined the school had violated the rights of women and girls by allowing an athlete assigned male at birth to compete on a women's team. This assign at birth stuff to me is silly. You're not assigned sex at birth. You know what the genitals are before the kid gets here. I mean, the kid is going to be what it is based on XY chromosome. This whole assign thing, it annoys me to no end. You guys have no idea. If Penn had fought the ruling, the school could have lost significant federal funding. Oh yeah, that's another thing. Trump was holding, I think, like $175 million in federal funding over their head. Like, if you guys continue to go down this path of just absolute ridiculousness and mental hard R-ness, you're not gonna get it. So they bent the knee because they wanted that damn money. I don't think they're doing this because they truly believe it's the right thing. They're basically being forced to act like they got some damn sense. As part of the deal to ensure the school retains its funding, Penn, quote, will restore to female athletes all individual UPenn Division I swimming records, titles, or similar recognitions which were misappropriated, end quote. Additionally, the university must issue a statement emphasizing its future compliance with Title IX and exclusion of transgender females from women's teams. It's crazy that things really came to this. This is why you have to hold the line. Because if you don't hold the line, you give way for foolishness like this to happen. This never should have made it this far. The moment that a guy was saying, hey, I want to be a girl now and I want to go swim on the women's team, should have been like, no. How about no? And that's it. You know, you don't bend to this nonsense because you let it get out of hand. I mean, it's been years now of this foolery, and we're just now seeing any sort of resolution for it. But that's only because our current president promised that he would fix this sort of ridiculousness. And him promising to fix these things is a large part of why he won. The left still hasn't figured out why they lost so badly. And they need to pull their head out of their ass, or else they're going to lose in 2028 as well. But I certainly wouldn't be upset if that were to happen. This falls in line with guidance from the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump, who has made a priority of prohibiting anyone assigned male at birth from participating in women's sports since returning to office in January. The statement will specify that UPenn will adopt biology-based definitions for the words male and female pursuant to Title IX and consistent with President Trump's executive orders, quote, defending women from gender ideology extremism, end quote, and, quote, keeping men out of women's sports, end quote. UPenn will post the statement in a prominent location on its website and on each of its websites for women athletics. UPenn will rescind any guidance which violated Title IX, remove or revise any internal or public-facing statements or documents that are inconsistent with Title IX, and notify all staff and women's athletics of all such recessions. UPenn will send a personalized letter of apology to each impacted female swimmer. I absolutely love this. I, I mean, I'm sure you guys could tell. I absolutely love this. Here is a quote. It says, "Today is a great victory for women and girls, not only at the University of Pennsylvania, but all across our nation," said Secretary of Education Linda McMahon. Vince McMahon's wife, for those of you that don't know. The department commends UPenn for rectifying its past harms against women and girls, and we will continue to fight relentlessly to restore Title IX's proper application and enforce it to the fullest extent of the law. In the months before and after Thomas became a contender in women's category for the first time, sports organizations worked furiously to clarify and update their positions on transgender inclusion. The NCAA made various announcements during the latter half of the 2021 through 22 season, but Thomas was still allowed to compete up until the NCAA championship in March 2022. Following that meet, which concluded his college career, because I refuse to say her when referring to a man, Thomas was effectively prohibited from further participation in the sport because of new legislation from USA Swimming and World Aquatics. And lastly, Lia Thomas, competing as a transgender woman on the University of Pennsylvania women's swimming team, won the NCAA Division I National Championship in the 500-yard freestyle in March 2022 with a time of 4:33.24. This made him the first openly transgender athlete to win an NCAA Division I title in any sport. At the same NCAA championships, he placed 5th in the 200-yard freestyle, tied with Riley Gaines, which is absolutely freaking pathetic. You're a 6'4" man. You have all of the benefits of testosterone on your side, and you couldn't beat a 5'5" girl. Like, absolutely freaking pathetic. You couldn't even win that. So you go into this to decimate the girls, and I mean, you did for the most part, but it should have been across the board, dude. Let's see. He also set program records at Penn in the 100, 200, and 500 freestyle events during the 2021 through 22 season, and broke several women's records at the 2022 Ivy League championship meet. Just absolute ridiculousness. I'm sure you guys can hear in my voice that I'm dead ass serious. I absolutely hated this. I hated this, man. Like, I'm pretty good at articulating myself, but words, I can't even put into words how much I hated this and how happy I am that this has been rectified. So I'm gonna leave it there, you guys. Hit me with a like if you like what I do. Hit me with a sub if you like what I do, and hit me in them comments. I'm gonna holler at y'all. Peace.